Michelle, you're supposed to be on in 15 seconds.
I am not going on stage before I get my Diet Coke.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2019-2020 CFMA Chairman, Michelle Eastman.
They've never drove through Indiana, met the man who plowed that earth, planted that seed, busted his ass for you and me. You're called a harvest moon.
All I can say is a girl's got to have her Diet Coke. And those who know me know that's true. So I'd like to start off this afternoon by asking you each to ask yourself 3 questions. The first question is one I actually asked myself over 20 years ago now. Some of you may have asked it a while ago. Some of you may have asked it literally while you were registering for this conference. And that is, where am I going to go to get the specialized education that I need to be the best in the industry, being a construction financial professional? The second question I ask you to think about is, how many of you ever asked yourself, where am I going to go to learn how to be a better leader, to be able to work better with my staff, on my executive team, to lead them the best that I can? And then how many of you, unfortunately, have faced the question, what next, or what now? Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, I would like to show you that CFMA's compass holds the answer to all 3 of those questions. To do so, I want to go back to 2004, where my journey with CFMA began. At the time, I was the controller of a residential home builder in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And truthfully, I was happy. I loved my job, I loved my staff, I loved the company I worked for. But as luck would have it, and honestly at that point, I knew nothing about CFMA. Didn't even know the association existed. As luck would have it, though, that company hired a new CFO. And that CFO saw in me potential that at that point in time, I just didn't know I had even in myself. And it started my journey and his introduction of introducing me to CFMA that took me to my first destination, and that is Destination Technical Expert. Many of you in this room are familiar with this destination. I like to think we have a lot of traditional education that you are familiar with, as well as collaborative learning opportunities. Traditionally, we offer courses in such a variety, ranging everywhere from revenue recognition to the WIP schedule, to information technology, to human resource issues, webinar, a multitude of formats, and a lot of you will pursue credits in those today and over the next few days. But equally important is our collaborative learning opportunities. You all know this because you're in this room today. The opportunities you will take to learn from each other and go back to be a technical expert in your field can never be, that value just can never be stated. Your other collaborative learning opportunities, Stuart mentioned this morning, if you've not already taken advantage of our Connection Cafe, what a powerful tool to have access to almost 9,000 members to pose your questions and to get help from others in the industry actively working on a day-to-day basis. In addition, about 4 years ago now, CFMA realized we had an opportunity to start our peer group program, where groups of 8 to 10 individuals who work in non-competing markets have the opportunity to work together throughout the year, to learn from each other and to grow, to meet face-to-face, to become that technical expert. The next destination I started to head to, for me, actually happened pretty quickly. And that was that same CFO that introduced me to CFMA posed a challenge to me. And that was how to learn to be a better leader. And that led me over to Destination Leader. Leadership in CFMA also exists in a formal, what I like to call, manner, as well as an informal. On the formal side, you each have an opportunity to participate in your chapters, serving on committees there, chairing committees, becoming a member of your board, or serving as an officer of your chapter. Those who become officers have the opportunity in October of each year to attend our nationally known program, Spring Creek, where 60 of our chapter leaders come together in Carefree, Arizona, for 3.5 days to learn together, not just how to be a leader within CFMA, but how to be a leader professionally and personally as well. Many of those will go on to participate in our national committees and may chair a national committee. They may have the opportunity to participate in our national mentoring program. Both our Spring Creek program and our national mentoring program, I would be remiss to mention, are free of charge. In the national mentoring program, we pair you up one-on-one for 1 year with a former national leader. I say 1 year, that's the formal program. The relationship lasts a lifetime. But again, we work with a facilitated program and give you the opportunity to grow in CFMA, your professional leadership, and your personal leadership. But what I've learned along my path in CFMA is that it's that informal leadership development that means so much. It's those opportunities to work on those boards that are ever changing, with personalities that change, dynamics that change, individuals that change. To learn leadership within different groups is another valuable asset that we present within CFMA. And then finally, I'd like to mention here that CFMA also strives to be a leader in our industry. As many of you in the room are aware, we formed the Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention. We knew that, unfortunately, suicide deaths in construction are high. We wanted to lead our industry and take charge and really go after trying to reduce that number. So what I've talked about so far in Destination Technical Expert and Destination Leader you all are really familiar with, many of you in the room at least. The next couple destinations I want to talk about, though, are ones that became purposeful and meaningful to me, and I want to share with you all in the room that your CFMA compass is available to address. The first one I want to talk about actually happened to me very quickly in my career. See, my first opportunity to pursue Destination Leader came when I had an opportunity to travel to Dallas, Texas to attend a 3-day leadership retreat. I was completely energized at the end of that. We ended on a Sunday, and I was flying home full of excitement and vigor, as many of you will after this conference. I couldn't wait to get back to my staff to try out new ideas and my company to work on new ideas. But little did I know that at 7 a.m. that very next morning, I would get a phone call letting me know that the same CFO who introduced me to CFMA, who led me to Technical Expert and Leader, tragically had lost his life literally while I was in flight on Sunday in a car accident. And I had to step into a destination that, while I may have jogged to Destination Technical Expert, given my personality, I ran to Destination Leader, but I got stuck stepping into Destination Unknown. Many of you in this room have found yourself unexpectedly in this destination, and that's why I want to talk about it. I want to talk first and kind of reference Sheryl Sandberg, who many of you may be familiar with. Sheryl's the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook. And if you know her story, or read some of her material, heard her speak, you know that just a few years ago, while on a family vacation in Mexico, Sheryl lost her husband of only 48 years to a very unexpected cardiac event. She went on to write a book called Option B, and she talks about traveling home from that vacation. She met with friends shortly upon her return, and she talked to them about, just what you would. What do I do now? I've lost my husband, I've lost my best friend, my children have lost their father. Where do I go? She said, a very wise friend said this to me, and it was this: Sheryl, it sounds like option A is no longer available to you. And while you should mourn and weep that and cry over that, the truth is, now what you must do is define option B and decide how you are just going to embrace it and crush that as your way to go forward. I know, without a doubt, I would not have made it through the transition of the loss of that CFO, corporately leading in that role, or in any other part of my career, had I not already started to form key relationships within CFMA. Many in this room can attest to having to move from an option A to an option B, and the power that CFMA's compass and what that entailed, their peer relationships, having their education be up to date and their leadership skills, how much more quickly they were able to move through that transition. This past October, I actually had the opportunity to attend Spring Creek with about 56 of our chapter leaders. I was excited on the last day. My theme has been about the compass all along. But on the very last day they were there, they had a compass, and we decided to put them through an exercise. In the exercise, they had to go from point 1 to point 2 using the compass, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so on. Each group had a unique set of instructions. So they started, and we had them use the compasses. On their mark, they went from point 1 to point 2. Many of them got close, some missed. We did some self-corrective action. Then we had them go from point 2 to point 3, and they were really catching on. And I may be exaggerating just a little bit, but I would say when I asked, are we ready to go from 3 to 4, the body language was much more, as you know with accountants, right? We're ready to go. We've got half a step out the door. Until I said these words to them: put your compasses in your pockets. And ladies and gentlemen, the stance, I assure you, went from this to either this or this. Because they realized that their tool they needed to get from point 3 to point 4 was no longer there. We still let them do it, and some of them still got close, and some missed by a mile. But the point was made that you must always have your CFMA compass at the ready so you can transition from your plan A into your option B as seamlessly as possible. The last destination that I want to talk to you about today is actually the one I am most excited about. This is destination yours. And when I say it's yours for you, and it's yours for CFMA. What I mean when I talk about destination yours for you is this. It's what I've learned over my career. When it comes to deciding on the compass where you want to go, and when I got ready for this speech, I was thinking about the compass, and what I really came to realize as I thought about it was, truthfully, the number of points you could decide to seek out and pursue on a compass is infinite. Yours may be very close to someone else, but it's still uniquely yours. When you choose those points, I encourage you always to only define for yourself what that point should be. Do not seek out the top title and the top salary unless you passionately in your soul want that position. Be happy with what you define as being your destination, yours. That is, in my opinion, the only way that you will truly find happiness. And when you reach that destination, and it might be a point along the way, and you go on to more later, but whatever destination you reach, I say to you this: it is incumbent upon you to make that position uniquely yours. See, others have supported you getting to that spot because they believed in you. They saw a skill set in you. They saw a passion in you. They saw those things in you that would bring something to that position. It's all on you. It is not what your successors may have done. It's not what, or your predecessors. It's not what your successors will do after you. It's up to you to make that position uniquely you. The truth is, I've walked my own talk even today, as many of you may have already figured out. Some of you, and I won't ask anyone to admit this, but when I took the stage a few minutes ago, your first thought was, that is not what the chairman wears when they do the chairman's address at the chairman's luncheon. And that's okay, because for probably the last 10 to 12 years, you're right. But see, I always knew that that wasn't Michelle's destination exactly. And that's not a reflection on any chairman that walked this path before me. It's not a reflection on any chairman who will walk this path after me. It simply is me. And it's incumbent upon me, and I take that seriously, and you should as well. And finally, CFMA, what is CFMA yours for CFMA? When I thought about the compass, and I really thought about what it came down to at the end of the day, here's where I got. We all think of a compass as being made up of a needle, a magnet, glass, some casing, north, south, east, west, the letters. But you see, that's not what CFMA's compass is made of. CFMA's compass is our people. It's you. And it's you, and it's you, and it's you, it's you, and it's you. It's everyone in this room. It's our nearly 9,000 members now who are absolutely incredible. It's our amazing staff in Princeton, New Jersey, who makes all of this run seamlessly for all of us. It's yours, and it's you. And without you, CFMA literally ceases to exist. So I challenge you to always be doing 3 things. Number 1, always be using your CFMA compass. Number 2, always be letting us know how we can improve that compass and enhance it to always make us the best association we can be. And number 3, let others know about the CFMA compass and help the younger members or newer members learn all of those benefits that are available to them within their compass. With that, I'm going to leave you with a closing line that struck me It's just a simple line from Mamma Mia, but it sums up my message to you today, and that is, always do what makes your soul shine. Thank you.
Dancing